primer, or in my view, a much better book, much more easy to digest,
Who?
called Who. And
I've
boy,
been listening to Michael's podcast.
do I ever recommend that book for any CEO? I mean, my gosh, I mean, it describes, how do you recruit, interview, particularly in the interviewing. There's a two-step interviewing process: screening and a top grading tandem interview. But there's a recruiting, there's an interviewing, there's a hiring, an onboarding, a training. I mean, all of those things are separate categories that need to be managed so well. And so often they're not. I mean, we find somebody, they're warm and vertical, they can fog a mirror, and we bring them in, and we give
Warm and vertical.
we give them a cubicle, and we give them a laptop, and we're printing up business cards, and maybe they'll get here in 3 weeks, and we're not prepared. We give a party for somebody when they're leaving. We should be giving a party for them when they come. And assign them a buddy, help them navigate through. These people come in, they don't have a clue about the company. They've not been told anything about the purpose. They know what the product or service is, but they don't know anything about the culture. I mean, you guys both have families, you have wives, and I know, Paul, I don't know, Corey, in your case, if you have children, but Paul, I know you do. And so there's a culture in the Adams family, right? There's a culture in the Langhout family. There's a culture, Corey, in the Shepherd family. And so if you bring somebody into that new family, wouldn't you want them to know about you guys? Wouldn't you want them to know? And so often, I mean, it's incredulous to me that the CEO delegates this out to an HR person, and there are many that are very, very good, but honestly, there's a whole bunch that aren't. And so it's just, these are the areas that I think, that we really, if we can fix those kinds of problems, these are foundational, right? I mean, I look at a business, there's 6 systems in a business that I think about, but the basic system is your CEO and that leader that has to be constantly communicating the core values, the purpose, so that Michael, everybody hears that all the time.
You're giving me such an aha right now, mentioning people first and then systems. And what comes to mind is, of course, it's people, because really good people can actually get a lot done, even in not so great systems and structures. They can press through that. And really not good people and not good fit can tear down the best systems and structures that have ever been built. So you're not going to do it without good people, and you're not going to do it with bad people, no matter what.
Yeah, and then you go to the execution piece, which is where they typically are coming in anyway, and they're saying, all right, well, let's take a look at the processes. And typically you're going to find a book somewhere, or it's on a shared file, a shared drive somewhere. You're going to find this list of processes that some consultant came in and helped them develop 5 years ago. And today, none of them are being followed because everyone came in and did not get trained, and so they do workarounds, right? There's stuff that has to get done. There's a process for it, but we don't know what that process is because it's buried somewhere. Nobody's looked at it in years. So we invent our own. I mean, it's no wonder stuff is broken. It's appalling to me that this stuff happens. And, that the point I wanted to come back to, Corey, on your observation about people, and this is something people don't really understand, CEOs particularly. If you think about those thoroughbreds, those A performers, right? I mean, they're just the high figured out factor. I mean, the coaching for them is way different than the coaching for anybody else. Your job is to just remove the obstacles and give them the free running lane in front of them so that they can just blast and go. Right. And so you want a high percentage. Most companies have about 25% of their employees are in that category. And you want that up around 70, 80% if you can get it. And the point that I'll make, and then I'll leave this topic, is that the ones that are not performing that you described, that'll kill the company, kill the culture, kill the processes, call those C performers, just in the top grading vernacular. There is a risk of flight on the A guys, because the A guys see the lower performers and they're having to pick up the slack, right? Oh, somebody called in sick, or they were late for a meeting, or they missed the meeting. Or I mean, I had a coaching session yesterday with a CEO. She was all distraught about this person that continues to forget about meetings. And Paul, I know that would scratch an itch of yours.
Well, I was going to say for me, I'll tell you what I'm hearing here is that your low performers can drive your A players out of your organization, leaving holes in your organizational chart. So I think I'm not too far afield to say that if you leave the low performers in your organization without accountability, you could end up with a bunch of A holes in your org chart.
And with that, I think...
Hey guys, so glad you got a chance to dig in, watch that video. Be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and let's not forget the underappreciated original viral sensation, the chain letter. See if you don't share this video with 5 of your friends, your basement's gonna flood.